Okay, we're going. Alright, so for today, I want to give you a fraction. Okay, before we even get to the textbook, I want to revise the lesson we did during the lockdown about writing a number as a decimal. Remember decimals?
Yeah.
Okay, if you don't remember, it's fine, I'll reteach. So if, for example, I have a number like, a common fraction like 4 over 100. All this means is that I take this 4, right? And I start here with my comma. And I move my comma how many spaces? 2 spaces, because 100 has 2 zeros. So I start here, and you imagine my comma is here after my whole number, right? And I divide by 2 spaces. So I 1, 2. And I put a comma there, right? That means there needs to be a number here, and there needs to be a number there. And I can't just slot anything in. I rather put zeros in. Alright? Now, 1 second, my boy. So why did I take 2 spaces to the left? Because whenever you divide, you move to the left. Whenever you multiply, you move to the right, right? Your comma moves. So now, because I'm dividing, because this means 4 divided by 100. So I start off with 4. I put my pretend comma here. And because I have 2 zeros, I move my comma 4 spaces. So 1, 2. And all the gaps that I find myself with, I slot it with. Are we together? So if I had, for example, 25 over 100, if I want to write this with a decimal, I write 25. I start here. I move my comma 2 spaces. 1, 2, and I insert there. And I fill the gaps with 0. Are we together? Let's take another example. Maybe we can take 10 over 100. So I start with 10. I put my comma here. How many spaces am I moving, Gabella? Right, so that's 1, 2. I write it in there and I fill up with a 0. Okay, so now let's go to the textbook. Yes, question? Tell me, don't be shy. Which one? Wait, 4 over 10. Okay. So untie this already. Yeah? Why? Because we're only concerned about the zeros. Okay? The zeros are what matters to us. If this was going to be a 2, it would change it. But as long as it's 10 or 100, we are happy. Okay? Now, if it was 4 over 10, we're only moving the comma 1 space, isn't it? Sorry, so I made a mistake there. So it's 4 here. I move it 1 space. And then I get 0, comma 4. But if it was 4 over 100, I get 4. I start here, I move 2 spaces. 1, 2. Can you see the difference? 1, 0. Okay, now we can go to our textbook. Is it possible to? Yeah, it is. But because we're working with percentages, we want our decimals to always be 100. So in my textbook, they give us a percentage. So I will make my own percentage here, and I will pick 23%. So essentially, where do they want us to go with this 23%? They want us to write it as a decimal. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take my percentage. I'm going to write it as a common fraction. So what's my common fraction, Mr. K? Excellent. So I got 23 over 100. Now I want to write it as a decimal. What I just taught you, it's going to be equals to 23. I start here. How many zeros? How many spaces? 2. So I go 1, 2, and I fill up with a 0. Easy? Squeezy, lemon squeezy? Right, let's do another example. 17%. Give me a common fraction here, please. Auntie Majolt. Alright, 17 over 100. I start with 17. I come to the back of my number. I move my comma how many spaces, Jade? 2, 1, 2. Fill up with a 0. Are we together? Okay, that's number 1. That's what you do for exercise 23.4. Numbers 1 to 10, that's what you're going to do. Okay? But what in case the percentage was a single digit? So maybe it was 3% I got. I only got 3% of my math test wrong. Right? Okay, I was following. So what's my common fraction here? Correct. So I start off with 3. 1, 2. I fill up there. I fill up there. Okay? I'll leave this on the board for examples, right? Okay, let's go to exercise 23.5. Now they give us the decimal. And what do they want us to do with the decimal? Convert it to a percentage. So we must go decimal, then we must go common fraction, then we can go to a percentage. Okay, so let me take a decimal like 0, 4. Okay. If there's only one space after the comma, it means my denominator is 10. Because 10 has 1 0. So, this is equals to 1 0. Right? And then this goes up there. Right? But now, to write it as a percentage, my denominator must be 100. So what must I do here to get this to 100? Right. Is equals to? Which is equals to? 4. Are we comfortable with that? Okay, let's say for example, let's do another one. My percentage is 17%. Oh, I just gave you the answer. Let me take another one. 0,23 is equals to how many spaces after the comma do I have? So what's my denominator going to be? Because 100 has 2 zeros, isn't it? 2 spaces, 2 zeros. Right? And then what's my numerator? Correct. And if I've got my denominator as 100 already, so what's my percentage? Musa, you paying attention, Boyki? Are we there? Okay, here's another one. How about 0,04? How many spaces after my comma do I have, Leander? So what's my denominator, Julia? 100. And what's my numerator? Randani? 4. What's my percentage? 4. You are so clever. All of you. Who needs me to do another example? Alright. Just because you want to get it right. Okay. Let me take let's take three numbers, but there's no three numbers yet. Hey, you want to go to the next grade 7 level here. Okay, let's do 0.94% what I got from maths, right? This is not 94%, this is 0.94 as a decimal. And then I want to write this as a common fraction. So how many spaces after my comma, Musa? 2. So what's my denominator, Musa? And what's my numerator, Musa? And what's my percentage, Musa? Yeah, I'm so good in maths. But I should have gotten 100% if I teach it, no? Okay, it was just an example. Are we all good?